and welcome to another video from Armoury Antiques and Militaria and our YouTube channel. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're watching this video, yes, you watching this video right now, don't forget to subscribe to our videos. We do loads of videos, 30 plus videos a month, and we feature some really interesting items like we're going to today. Also give us a thumbs up, put some comments down below. As long as they're not provocative, we're happy for comments to be made to add to the knowledge around the objects that we feature, and sit back and enjoy the video. So what do we have? And some of you might be sitting there saying it's just a pair of canvas belts. Well, no, it's not just a pair of canvas belts. These are Argentinian from the Falklands War. Now we've got a couple of variations here, and the rarest one is this one here. Let me hold up the camera for you. As you can see, we've got some deterioration, and we've also got some rusting, and we've got a canvas type belt which is used on webbing. But it's when we hold it up to the camera and I show you the iconography, it starts to make sense. So what we have here is a Falklands War Marines belt. Now these are quite scarce. What you've got on the buckle, you've got the sun iconography, the cocked hat on the pole here, and the anchor. So typical Argentinian iconography, and this is a Marines one, so you don't see these very often. Now I've just sold, and you'll see the video if you look back at our content, I've just sold a Argentinian Marines fighting knife, exceptionally rare, and that will be going on this belt for the client that bought it because he's making a mannequin up of a Falklands War period Argentinian Marine. So this is the belt for it, and now he's got the fighting knife. Exceptionally scarce items. Now with this particular belt, it undoes very much like the Victorian belts we see, this clasp type fitting like so. And if you look over the belt, there are no other markings, but if you look in the correct reference books and you speak to Falklands War veterans, like many of our friends are, whether that be on the HMS Broadsword, whether that be on HMS Avenger, or whether that be, you know, with Royal Marines and SF that we know, Special Forces, they'll all confirm what this is. Now, it's quite important that my client who has this belt, or bought this belt, and also the fighting knife, he was on HMS Avenger in the Falklands War and took the surrender of the Argentine garrison. And when you start putting these things together, it becomes very, very interesting to people when we've got the provenance like that related to an object, especially the belt, and also the fighting knife that I've mentioned to you already. And this belt was brought back, as I've said, by a Royal Marine from the Falklands via my good client who was on HMS Avenger and took the surrender of the Argentinian garrison. So fascinating. Got another belt here. Looks very modern, doesn't it? But it's Argentinian. It's in this green webbing type colour. Quite robust belt buckle to it, as you can see, which affixes like so. And there are marks on this, which I'll try and show you on camera. Can you see that, guys? It says Tempex. Now, Tempex is a commonly encountered maker's mark on items from the Falklands War. So for example, if we look at a Falklands FN bayonet here, and there are variations on these, and these Falklands ones tend to have a smaller loop here, as you can see on the top. They also have numbers occasionally, not always, on the top of the fitting here or on the scabbard, but you'll also see we've got the maker's mark here, Tempex again, on these pop studs and on the fittings. So again, you'll see it here. Also with the FM bayonet, you'll find that when you put one from, you know, a later one, because obviously these are Belgian, you'll find that the scabbards, they need them side by side, but the Falklands War Argentinian ones are narrower here and slimmed down quite considerably. So these are little pointers that you wouldn't notice if you just had a bayonet in your hand singly, but when you put them next to each other, you really can tell the difference. Now, of course, you see these webbing slides here. Now, on this type of belt, as you see on the bayonet, you've got these webbing slides, and that would simply slide onto this belt, as you can see here, if you wanted to wear it like that. Or you've got the webbing bars here, which will go through these hooks and secure it onto the belt, if that's how you wanted to wear the bayonet when you were carrying it or when it was in use. Now, these FM bayonets, you know, a lot of people claim that they're Falklands ones, and I would be very cautious of anyone that offers Falklands War bayonets and objects, especially the FN bayonet, unless you've got a really good solid provenance. Now we've got really good solid provenance with this bayonet, as with the other one we sold, is it came from 4-2 Commando at Port Stanley and was surrendered to a Royal Marine who we have the name of and everything else, and he was part of the 4-2 Commando sniper troop for the bayonets. Now when we're talking about these belts, these have, as I've said, come from the surrender at the Falklands. This one was brought or got by a Royal Marine at that surrender at Stanley, and also the Argentinian garrison with HMS Avenger, who took the surrender of the Argentine garrison, as I've said. Now, the Tempex belt, this one here I've mentioned, this more basic one, when we've got the Tempex writing here, if you can see it stamped into the metal buckle, hope you can see that. Now, the Tempex belt was picked up from Fox Bay on the 15th of June 1982. HMS Avenger took the surrender, as I've said, of the Argentine garrison. What better provenance could you ask for when we're talking about an inanimate object that really, if it was laid on a table or you saw it at a show or in a shop, it doesn't tell a story, does it? Until you start to put the provenance and you start to look at the maker's marks and the history of where this belt came from. I'll repeat it, just in case you didn't hear what I said, is this Tempex belt was picked up from Fox Bay on the 15th of June 1982. So the provenance is excellent. And HMS Avenger, the connection there, and the surrender of the Argentine garrison. What a story this belt has. You try and find that anywhere else with objects that are offered for sale by collectors, dealers, people at shows. They can make these things up. Here at Armoury Antiques and Militaria, we do not make provenance up. We can give you, subject to the individual wanting to give their name out, the provenance of where these things came from. And that's what makes Armoury Antiques and Militaria so much more special than other dealers or collectors that sell things online or whatever, because we get genuine provenance on items that you won't find anywhere else. So the one here for me, well, they're both interesting because of the provenance, but to see a Argentine Marines belt like this, exceptionally rare, very, very desirable, and loads of Falklands collectors would want this in their collection. I mean, we had the fighting knife, as I said, not the FN, but we had the fighting knife in just the other day. That's sold already, and that was quite rare. We're talking about a Argentine Marine fighting knife. You just don't see them. People see them in books, and you just don't see them anywhere. And when it came up for sale, it was really interesting because we had a couple of Royal Marines that served out there, and of course Royal Navy individuals that said, I remember those. I remember when they came in, and when we saw them carrying them in the Falklands. And what better evidence have you got for evidence of carry and that sort of thing? So anyway, I'll stop talking so much about these objects. You can probably tell that I'm very excited to have them in the shop and to be able to talk to you about them. And the fact we're talking about things that we can specifically date to a certain time. The 15th of June 1982, Fox Bay, HMS Avenger, the surrender of the Argentine garrison. You find that provenance anywhere else? You won't. Just here at Armoury Antiques and Militaria. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, put some comments down below, always welcome. And we look forward to doing another video very, very, very soon. Probably today or tomorrow. But why don't you, watching this video, buy us a coffee? That is very much appreciated. We help people all the time with research and stuff like that. And for you to buy us a coffee, links down below, is really appreciated, and it makes it all worthwhile. Once again, thank you for watching, and look out for our next video.